Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the ultimate playbook for searching USPTO trademarks before you file. You know, if you're a startup founder, an Amazon seller, a YouTube creator, or honestly anyone building a brand, this is absolutely foundational to your success. Let's just start with the hard truth, okay? Every single day, passionate founders are spending literally thousands of dollars on custom packaging, inventory, gorgeous website designs, and ads, only to realize that someone else already owns the legally protected rights to their brand name. Why? Because they skipped a proper federal trademark search, just assuming a quick Google check was going to be enough. I mean, imagine the sheer financial pain and lost opportunity of a forced rebrand, right when your business is finally taking off. Picture waking up on a Friday to a nasty cease and desist letter, or suddenly finding all your Amazon brand registry listings completely taken down. The momentum just stops, the lawyers get involved, and everything you've built comes to a grinding halt. It's brutal. So today we are going through a high-stakes playbook to protect your brand and your wallet. We'll be looking at the expensive branding mistakes to avoid, trademark basics and misconceptions, understanding what's called the likelihood of confusion, executing your actual USPTO search, looking beyond the federal database, and finally, filing smart and staying safe. All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the expensive branding mistake. You see, trademark disputes rarely start with bad actors trying to steal a name. They almost always start with shortcuts. A founder falls in love with a name, does a 2-minute web search, and just goes for it. But this leads to rejected USPTO applications, which completely waste your filing fees, and it can lead to incredibly costly federal lawsuits. It forces expensive rebranding, where you literally have to throw away boxes of inventory. And for e-commerce folks, it leads to those devastating Amazon or Etsy marketplace takedowns. Doing clearance is really about understanding your legal risk before you spend a single dime on branding. Moving right along to Section 2, trademark basics and misconceptions. So a massive misconception that beginners have is assuming that just because they registered an LLC with their state or bought a cool domain name, that they automatically own the trademark, while they absolutely do not. State business registration just allows you to operate a business entity in that specific state. It grants exactly 0 federal brand protection. Someone in a totally different state could federally register that exact same name and legally force you to stop using it. Crazy, right? Just to be perfectly clear here, we are searching for trademarks, which protect brand names, slogans, and logos that identify the source of a product. This is distinctly different from copyrights, which protect original creative works like art or written content, and patents, which are for protecting physical inventions. You want a trademark to protect your brand identity. Now here's a really foundational concept, the number 45. The USPTO sorts all goods and services into 45 distinct international classes, and this is how they organize their massive database and check for related products. For example, Class 25 is for clothing, while Class 30 covers coffee and tea. So when you're searching, you aren't just searching the whole world, you're searching within the specific classes that are relevant to your business and the coordinated classes that are commercially related. Which brings us right to Section 3, understanding likelihood of confusion. The core legal test isn't just about finding exact matches. It's about the likelihood of confusion. Basically, if a consumer assumes the products come from the same company, you're in trouble. Let's look at the conflict types. Sure, an exact match like brew and learn versus brew and learn is an obvious knockout. But check out the sound-alikes, Nutriva and Nutriva. Even though they are spelled totally differently, they sound identical when spoken. So that's a major conflict. Plus, conflicts happen across related goods. A registered trademark for a local coffee shop could easily block your application for a coffee equipment brand, simply because a consumer might mistakenly believe that the coffee shop started selling equipment. Okay, let's get to the fun part. Section 4, executing your USPTO search. You'll be starting your journey at the modern, cloud-based USPTO Federal Trademark Search System. This interface replaces all their clunky old legacy systems, and it's exactly where you're going to look for both live applications and existing registrations. The system actually has a toggle up in the top right between basic and expert modes. While a basic drop-down search is fine for a super quick check, the pros use expert mode. In expert mode, you can use field tags and logical operators like and, or, and not to combine your previous searches, filter by those 45 classes we talked about, and really narrow down thousands of results to find the exact conflicts that actually matter to you. So let's talk about proven search logic.
Step 1 is your exact knockout search. Literally just typing in your exact brand name to see if it's completely taken. Easy enough. Step 2 is phonetic variations. Remember, if you spell your brand with a K, you absolutely must search it with a C. Step 3 covers alternative spellings, plurals, and even foreign translations of your word. And finally, Step 4 applies if you have a logo. You have to look up the USPTO's specific design search codes to find visually similar logos. Like you'd search a specific code for trees if your logo happens to have a pine tree in it.
The USPTO officially advises to start with a narrow focus, then broaden your search. Essentially, start narrow to quickly catch those really obvious exact match knockouts. I mean, if your exact name is taken in your exact industry, you've just saved yourself hours of research. From there, you broaden your search using wildcards and broader keyword combinations. Now, you can filter out dead or abandoned trademarks to focus on live threats, but be very careful here. A dead USPTO application does not mean the company stopped operating, which brings us to a really critical point. Section 5. Beyond the federal database. Think of trademark searching like a giant iceberg. What you see officially registered on the USPTO database is literally just the tip of that iceberg. It's definitely not the only thing that can sink your ship. In the United States, trademark rights are based primarily on use in commerce, not just who registered first. This means unregistered, common law brands can still hold incredibly powerful, enforceable rights. If a local business has been using a name for 10 years, even without a federal registration, they could take legal action against you or even petition to cancel your trademark down the road. So a truly comprehensive search has got to check domain names, social media handles, Amazon storefronts, state-level databases, and just general web results. And finally, Section 6, filing smart and staying safe. Timing really is everything here. Executing a thorough clearance search might just take a few days, but a trademark application takes many months, often well over a year, just to be reviewed by a USPTO examining attorney. Catching a conflict during a search today saves you from waiting 13 long months only to receive a flat-out refusal, which they call an office action. By searching early, you can file an intent-to-use application with total confidence, basically securing your place in line before your product even launches. Of course, keep in mind that intellectual property law, the USPTO search interfaces, and legal standards do evolve over time. While this explainer provides a fantastic educational foundation, consulting a professional trademark attorney isn't just some basic legal disclaimer. It's an advanced strategy for serious founders. An experienced attorney can interpret the nuance of likelihood of confusion far better than a beginner ever could. Ultimately, taking the time to search properly protects your brand equity from day one, because it's not just about finding a name that is technically available on a database. You need a name that can actually survive the marketplace, survive legal challenges, and grow into a highly valuable asset. A trademark isn't just about availability, it's about survivability. Taking shortcuts early on almost always leads to massive, expensive disputes later. So, armed with all this knowledge, are you ready to thoroughly search before you build? Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and here's to building bulletproof brands.